Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Appalachian Cryptid Encounters here. So I've been taking a couple days going through this footage that I've collected and try to get the clearest images I can up for the channel. Um, so I know the ones who's been following my channel for a while, I've learned how to spot these beings probably 99% of the time before I even spot them out and point them out to you and mark them up. Um, so it just goes to show you're training your eye and stuff what to see when you go into the woods, what to look for. Um, in this image here, I caught one of the juveniles out in the open. And he just stood real still in between two trees because usually in between two trees is cast a shadow. Most people uh, don't pay no mind to it. But this little being is already smart enough to realize that his hair, looks just like a shadow if he stands still. It's all about cover and concealment that they learn. But this is a pretty clear image. Well, let's get in here. We're gonna zoom in and take a look at this guy. Okay, this is the side profile view of him. Right? And you can see he's shielding his little brother. Now, I'm going to go to markup real quick. Just so I can show you. This right here is his little hand. His arm, rather. And his little hand is right here. And he's covering up the eye of his little brother that's over here. Now, and then his eyes right here. Okay, so his hair's in thick, right? His little brother's, his coat probably ain't as thick, or he might even be a different color, or whatever. It might not have grown in thick yet. So he is shielding him from me, and he's hiding out behind him. So it just looks like a shadow whenever you flash through with the light. But you can see his little eyes right there as he's looking down. You can see a portion of his nocturnal shade lenses there. But yeah, that's his little brother. He's got a little brother or sister that he's shielding. But wow, look at that. Look how dark. His fur just absorbs the light. Look at that. It is just like pitch black. Yeah, that's a 3300 lumens light. I'm blasting him with it. And I'm seeing him and he's not moving. He's just standing still. I'll show you the bigger image of this so you'll see in context of how close the Sasquatches were actually to me. So, and then here's a littler one up here looking back and his eyes are reflecting a little bit. But check him out. You see a little hand up there? Choose a button, man. Protecting each other. Alright. Okay. This was one of the adults that was over to the tree. I'll show you the bigger image in a minute. He's over to the left of that tree watching me, keeping an eye on his kids. He just blends right in. His hair is same color. Their skin, if their skin is an off color or whatever, they'll dye their skin using fluids and tree saps and stuff to get what color they need to get their skin to match their fur. But yeah, that's one of the adults right there. watching me closely. So let's see here. Just a moment, bear with me. Okay, so here's a wire image of this. This was as I was moving it because it's not completely focused, but here was the little juvenile right here. You see he's looking back at me right there. The adult male was right here. That's where he was watching me. And then there's another one over here to the right, but it's not in this image. I'll have to find that one. Let me see here. There's another one back here leaning down into the trees too, watching me. One of these I get a better image of his face. Okay, you can see his eyelids right there. Look at that. Okay. And that one adult is so close to me also. Right up on me. Let me see here. Trying to find it here. I just got so many daggone images, man. It's hard to point them out. If I find it, we'll go back to it here in a minute. This one might have been it. Yeah, I believe this is the guy. He's peeking around a tree at me. And that little juvenile is just to the left of this tree. And this one here was to the right of that tree. Keeping an eye on things. So let's see here. Now, I got a lot of footage off this video. It was unbelievable how much footage I got off of it. So here's another one. Which I got an image of this cleaned up, but it's a large adult right there, and he's got a juvenile right there to his side. But let me find the image that I already got enhanced to that. We'll see that here in a minute. Here's a Sasquatch laying in the brush, and you can see this is the back side of his head. Look at his eye watching me right there. So in this image, he's down in the brush, right? Here's his conical head. Here's his long forehead like that. And then there's his nose. There's his mouth. Alright, and there's his hair. And then he's got a little baby right here latched to his hair. This one, just see his facial detail a little bit. Look at that. See the hair on his eye, up around his eyes and stuff. I think he might be Darrow. He's got Darrow genetics because of his long snout. And so he's laying in the vegetation because he doesn't have a full body of hair. He's just got hair around his face. As you can see, his chest there doesn't have the hair. Now that could be because it's summertime and they're harvesting it, and so he's already given up his portion of the hair. and now it just needs to grow back. But so yeah, he's out of hair there. So here's one of the adults in the bush. You can see his face there. Um, Here's one of his eyes. It looks like he's got a slit. His eyes, that one there's more human-like. Every once in a while you'll see them, they look like they got like a snake eye kind of, their pupil gets real thin. Um, and I've seen a Sasquatch in this footage that has a beak. It's the first one I've ever seen. I get that footage, I'll show it to you. I'll throw it up on the channel. But yeah, it's just mind-boggling. Here's one. You see his eyes; they're reflecting red right there. He's looking off to the left side profile view of his face there. Um, there he's got his eyes closed. There's nocturnal shade lenses across his eyes right there. You can't really see him, but let's see here. Let's see if I can get him. I'll get back to that one. See if I can find it. Here's the one that was camouflaged. You can see his green tinted skin actually patching up light brown there as it chameleons. So let me get a mark up here. So you can see the green tint of his skin, and then here's a patch of the brown, light brown there, because he's got his mouth up against this branch right here, and he's starting to chameleon and cover and conceal as his pigmentation changes. Kind of like one of the chameleon lizards do, that type of ability. Um, then you can see his eyes right there, and his high eyebrow ridge there. Just staying right there in that thick vegetation watching me. Real close. I mean, they can get right up on you. Their cover and concealment is so good. It's just amazing. Here's another one. You can start to see his eye right there a little bit. He's looking off to the right there. Okay, you can start to see his nose there a little bit. He's got uh, a this film's not been enhanced or not, but his eyes are in there below his high eyebrow ridge. It's real thick skull, so it actually gives them some shade on their eyes. They're kind of snuck deep in their skull. Then you see his nose here, and his conical head goes like that. But that's what we're seeing. This Sasquatch was with the other Sasquatch just to the right of him, the one that was doing the cover and concealment. So most likely they're from the same tribe or whatever because they're there together. So I might be able to get a little bit more definition out of this, and I've not enhanced it at all. So let's see here, see what we can get. Brighten it up a little bit. Yeah. So that's him right there, up above there. Let's see. There's another one back here. Check him out. Side profile view. These blurry ones I'm just going to delete. This one here is another Sasquatch. You can see he's sunk way back in there, just in the shade there. You can see the red in his eyes. Look at that. See the reflection off his corneas throwing some red light there. You see his nostril right there flared up. I would say he's probably snarling at me. That's usually the response I get out of him as he's sitting there watching me. Here's that other Sasquatch. You can see the white of his eye now popping out. I would say I'm probably getting close to one of the kids, and so I'm drawing more expression out of him because when I get closer to the kids, the adults, they get nervous and stuff. You'll see their eyes will get real tense, as they're watching my every move, my every reflex, my everything as I'm recording and I'm walking. I try not to do no sudden moves when I'm around their children too, because for all they know, I'm packing and I'm going to draw. If I draw a firearm out and shoot one of their kids or something, they don't know me. You know what I mean? So they're always vigilant, and you can really see it in their faces. But their kids need to learn cover and concealment, and they know that for the most part, they got a feeling on me that they know that I'm not dangerous toward them. Because I've talked to them, I've seen them, I've engaged with them, waved at them. So they don't see me as a threat so much. But they still are on guard. Like, look at his face right here. See this eye right here? The piercing eye, he's sitting there watching me. And his other eye's open. Before, he had his nocturnal shade lenses on and was being more concealed. But right now, I think that I'm getting closer to one of their kids. He's starting to reveal his eyes a little bit, and to make sure there's no obstruction, because I think that's what's going on there. Yeah. Pretty amazing little beings, man. Well, not little by no means, but sitting there watching me. Here's another one. You can see him. I've not done any enhancement on this photo. So I'm going to go to markup just to show you. Here is another Sasquatch right here. Right. Here's his eyes. You can even see the top of his teeth right there. There's his nostrils, his conical head, more like that. See the top of his teeth? See his nose there? And there's his eyes watching me. Then above him is a larger adult. Check out his eyes. I mean, his eyes just, they tell a crazy story. Like, they're so piercing. It's like I don't know. It's like maybe they hate humans is the feeling that I'm getting from this guy, that this one here is not very fond of humans at all. And I would say he would be more of a menace towards me, but the other Sasquatches are probably keeping him in line, would be my guess. Because you can tell just the way he looks. He's not smiling. A lot of times they'll smile, they'll crack up, they'll throw hands at me and wave at me or throw little pebbles at me. This guy here, he don't do that. So, but yeah, still good footage. Um, there's a couple more of them in here hiding right in that vegetation. Let's see. The big snout on that guy. There's quite a bit of footage here to go through. I think that's a side profile view right there. Let me see. Yeah. Basically, here's his hair. There's his forehead down to his nose. There's his mouth. There's his eye. Watch him, a gold amber looking colored eye. You can see it right there in the bush. You know, we get out there in the pitch dark, man, and you're filming in the woods. It's so hard to get good footage, man. It really is. Wow, you can see this one pretty good. You see the top of his eye right there. Um, and then get in that brush and just watch it and stay real still. You can see he's got his eyelids almost closed completely there. Barely looking up at me there. Cutting down on the reflection. Okay. I guess it might be a little baby right there. Wow, check this guy out. He is that's an older Sasquatch right there. You can see he's almost baboon looking. Uh, he's got the hair down the sides like that. He's got his nocturnal shade lens on. They're solid black. That's what you're seeing right there. Then his nose, and then he's got one of the chimp type mouths. Is what he's got going there. Um, Plenty of footage here to go through. I need to sort through more of it, but yeah, that's one of the older adults right there. You can see the eye right there. He's uncovered from that shade lens is pulled back because he's partially hidden by vegetation there, so he's got that one eye exposed. Look at this guy looking at me underneath the vegetation. That's probably him, the same guy, most likely. I can't tell, but it's definitely he's peering at me under the under that vegetation. It looks like there might be a young juvenile right here, uh, right down from him there. Sure is. Yeah, that's the same Sasquatch. There's that side profile view. I don't know. I've seen this picture a couple times. I wonder. Oh, right there's the Sasquatch. He's sitting down right there. Couple of them. They're just in that thick vegetation. Hard to see, but they're in there. There's one right there too. Couple of them sitting in there. All right. That's about it on that. I see right here is one that's looking right above the vegetation on me right there. You can't hardly see him, but he's there in the bush. I'll try to lighten it up a little bit so you can see. Yeah, just sitting there watching me right above the vegetation there. Barely exposing his eyes. Here's another one watching me from back behind a tree branch. Back behind some trees there. Let's see. Uh, turn exposure. Look at that eye right there. See the conical head. Uh, the green tinted skin. Let's see here. Turn a little bit of sharpness up. There we go. Look at that. Just sitting there watching me. One down there too. This video is starting to run kind of long, so there's another one in the brush. So I do have some crystal clear footage in here. I just got so much of it. I'm going to have to make another video once I get all this sorted. And I'll put it up on the channel. Yeah, like I got 6,865 photos to sort through, if that tells you anything. Look at this guy back in the shrubbery there, back behind the bushes. Check him out. Let's see if I can find that one photo before I call it. There's one right there watching me. Let's see, right here. Look at this eye right here. There's his eyes, but he's blended in so well at the top of the brush here that he's so hard to even see. Look at him right there. You see a little bit of the white of his eye there. He's got a shade lens on. But this is one of the closest images I've gotten of one of their eyes. Crystal clear, so that's why I wanted to show that to you. Look at that. Of its eye. Absolutely amazing. Anyways, I'd like